Home Folks, Visit 3, featuring June Haley Maxwell. Presented by Izard County Abstract, Mike Watson with State Farm Insurance, Cooper's Hawk Golf Course and the Hawk's Nest Grill, and by Sharp County Outdoors. This is Home Folks. I'm Ken Loggins. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your world once again. This is a place where we hear stories and we catch up with a lot of folks that mean a whole lot to us. Now, before we get started with today's guest, a couple of reminders for you. While you're here at the YouTube channel, please subscribe. It's absolutely free of charge, won't cost you a dime. It's the best way to get alerts on your mobile device or your computer whenever a new Home Folks visit is available. Also, find us on Facebook, Ken Loggins Online on Facebook. Follow us there as well. Another great way to keep in touch with the Home Folks schedule when brand new visits will be available. Don't forget, here at the YouTube channel, you can catch up on past visits that you might have missed as well. Today, a very special visit for me because I'm visiting with kinfolks today. Not only home folks, but kinfolks. My Aunt June, Melba June Haley Maxwell, is with us today. Thank you so much for taking the time today. How are you?
I'm okay.
Well, you look great. I know that you don't mind me bragging about your age. You were born in 1936.
Right.
Now, there's always been some discussion regarding your birthday, some debate, if you will. Does it fall on August 20th or the 21st? Let's clear that up once and for all.
Well, it was, got my first Social Security card, it was August 21st, but after everything come out, I was 20.
Okay.
August 20.
Do you just celebrate two birthdays every year?
It takes 2 days.
Twice the cake, twice the presents. We all should have two birthdays. A lot of folks listening know that you're part of the Haley family. Yule and Lola, your parents, and you were the middle child, weren't you? Exactly in the middle. Born and raised there in Lunenburg on the old Haley home place across from the Lunenburg Cemetery. Talk about some of your earliest childhood recollections. You were born into a big family already, and there were times you had extended family living on the same place.
Well, my Grandpa Millard and Miss Emma, I remember when I was just a little kid, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, here they'd come up to the house with their fishing poles, and we'd all go up to, we called it the upper place. We'd go up and fishing. Probably wasn't any fish in there that big, but we'd go sit on the bank and fish all afternoon. I remember my sister and I, when we were going to school at Lunenburg, anytime it come a big rain, we couldn't get across the creek, and we'd have to go down this side to the bridge, and we'd have to cross 2 or 3 ditches of water. We'd be soaking wet before we got to school.
I know you talk about Uncle Pos quite a bit. Tell us about Uncle Pos.
Well, I didn't know Uncle Pos all that well. I knew him after he was, pretty feeble.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed down with my Grandpa Millard and Emma. I remember the bedroom where he stayed. Jasper Newton was his name.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Baxter got his Newton from.
Yeah, my cousin Baxter, John Haley's boy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I never did know Uncle Pos all that much. We were just little kids.
Just knew of him.
But I remember him, got pictures of him.
Thinking about all the Haley siblings and kind of going down the line in order. First one to come along was Billy Deward Haley.
Uh-huh.
And you had Bob Haley.
Uh-huh.
And just when you thought it was going to be a house full of boys, the girls started coming along.
Bonnie.
Yeah. Bonnie Sue.
Mary Lou.
And then my mother.
And me.
3 straight girls, and then it was back to the boys, wasn't it? And it stayed with the boys after
Yeah,
that.
stayed with the boys.
You had Uncle Jim Haley. A lot of people knew of Jim. John Haley. John and Jim, if you were around back then, you know they were peas in a pod. Seemed like they were always running together. You had Don Haley. Pedro, as a lot of people know him. There was a child that was stillborn, a boy, I believe in between Pedro and Gary Haley, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. The nation coming out of the Depression, but you didn't really realize that we were in a depression. You just realized that, like most folks growing up around you, didn't have a whole lot, but didn't need a whole lot.
Well, Dad had the sorghum mill down there on the creek, and I remember stripping cane and cutting tops off and going down there and falling in a skimming hole and all that. We get all sick it up, then we go down the creek and wash off.
My mother always used to talk about Aunt Edna being a very unique character. What are your memories of Aunt Edna?
Aunt Edna, she always carried the water.
That's what I always heard.
And she'd tell us not to drink too much of that water because
she'd have to go back and carry more up. You were conserving water because Aunt Edna she might go on strike and not carry the water anymore. I've heard you tell a lot of stories about picking cotton and people not realize that we had cotton fields. We were talking with Betty McCollum the other day on another visit here on Home Folks, and she was talking about the area currently that where you have Bonton Village. It was cotton fields once upon a time. So you have your fair share of cotton fields in Lunenburg as well.
Yeah, we would go to school and come in, change clothes, and go pick cotton till practically dark.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary, Bonnie, and myself, we had to hold that cotton because we were the only help Dad had.
Yeah, once you got to the age where you could help out, it was about time for Billy and Bob to go on to the service or do whatever they were going to do. And
Bob
so
went in the service, and Billy was
he's playing playing baseball or in the service.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Being the athlete he was, Bill Haley had to have somebody catch for him when he practiced his pitching. My mom used to tell me about being on the receiving end of that. She said it was no fun.
He'd say, "If you don't catch this ball, I'm going to hit you."
So you caught it. And was this just like barehanded? Was there a mitt involved? Or?
Had some kind of mitt.
But it still stung, I would imagine.
And my brother Bill was always had a rain barrel, and he'd catch us kids and stick our head in the rain barrel till he left the house and went somewhere at night. We'd go hide.
Well, I would too, if you didn't want to have your head stuck in the rain barrel.
Or when Mom was making biscuits or something, he'd get a dough ball and try to make us eat the dough ball. He wasn't mean. He just ornery. Just having fun at our expense.
That's what you do with little brothers and little sisters. It's part of the deal.
Talk about picking cotton. I could pick 200 pounds a day.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me tired to think of.
I was going to say, it's nothing you'd like to go back and do over again. We are visiting with my Aunt Melba June Haley Maxwell. We have a lot more coming up, a lot more ground to cover. This is Home Folks. I'm Ken Loggins. We're back in just a moment. Hey, if you like what you're hearing on Home Folks, I encourage you to do business with our Home Folks partners. It wouldn't be possible without the Home Folks you find at Sharp County Outdoors, 587 Highway 62 West in Ash Flat. Mike Watson with State Farm Insurance, locations in Melbourne and Highland. Izard County Abstracts, serving you since 1954. And by Cooper's Hawk Golf Course and the Hawk's Nest Grill. Come and play, come and stay. A reminder, if you don't mind, subscribe here at the YouTube channel. It's absolutely free of charge. Also follow us at our Facebook page, Ken Loggins Online on Facebook. And now, more of our visit with June Haley Maxwell. This is Home Folks. This is Home Folks. I'm Ken Loggins. Thank you so much for being here. Always have a great time visiting with some of my favorite people in the world, some of your favorite people as well. And it never hurts to have relatives on the guest list. It's hard for them to say no, hard for them to turn you down. So I was lucky enough today to land a visit with my dear Aunt June. Yeah, a lot of you know her as Melba June Haley Maxwell. And in our previous segment, we were talking about some of her recollections, her memories of growing up in Lunenburg, Arkansas. Outside your family, your sibling group, some of the folks that you were acquainted with there in Lunenburg, maybe you went to school with them, maybe you would go to church with them on Sunday. Talk about a few of those folks.
Well, I'll remember my Aunt Sarah O'Neill. She was always at church. Used to spend a lot of time with her. I always liked to go to her house when it was raining because she had tin roof and you could just sleep good in that tin roof. Right? I used to go down with my grandpa and Emma a lot. I know one time the old houses used to be built different. They had a living room and a bedroom, had 2 doors to the porch, but they didn't have a doorway in between the rooms. Me and Emma decided that we'd just make us a door. We did. We got sawed out of the door. That's what Aunt Jackie always said. Said that y'all could do anything, just do anything we wanted to.
And you did it. You can drive by now. You have your Lunenburg Community Center. That was a schoolhouse. There was another schoolhouse, though, that's been torn down that was right next to it.
That was our church house. When I was about 13 years old, they had a revival down there. Bonnie and Mary and myself, we always went up and was converted and went down to on Sunday they took us down to the creek and baptized us. And I never joined another church. I'm the oldest member still alive.
You remember who did the preaching there?
Uncle Matt Rush was speaking, the preacher, when I always thought of him. He'd come, he lived around Sydney, somewhere over there. When they had the revival, he'd come down and stay a week. He'd ride a horse down to Lunenburg. And every night, somebody would take him home with them and give him a place to sleep and feed him. He'd preach the next day. And
wasn't too many cars going through Lunenburg back in that day.
I remember horse and buggy.
Yeah, it was still a horse and buggy and horseback thing. This is like late 30s, early 40s.
Oh, that reminds me. Mary and I used to have a church, a Bethel church over there, where the Adkissons live. And they'd have a revival. Mary and myself, Bonnie never would go. We'd go over there and to the church, to the sermon. That's when all the Guyan boys, the Banks boys and all them would come up on horses. We'd start walking back, and here they'd come up and running them horses. We'd have to get off of the...
Hit the ditch?
Run over. I think they would have run over us.
Revival services, that was really one of the only ways you could get out and socialize.
That was the only outlet to do.
Other than school and,
school and...
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Wasn't a lot of socializing out in that cotton patch. But anyway, I remember the first washing machine Mom got was a motor powered. It was had to have gasoline. We thought that's the greatest thing it ever was, because up until then, did all the washing down at the spring, because you couldn't carry that water up the hill to do all that laundry. And back then, laundry day was Monday, and I mean all day. But people didn't change clothes 2 or 3 times back then because didn't have that many.
gasoline washing machine. You had outhouses as far as your quote-unquote plumbing. It was still, the old-fashioned way, your outhouse. And
we didn't give it any thought,
Yeah,
just went. Down at the schoolhouse, they had a big outhouse out there. For the girls, the men had to go to the woods. They didn't deserve a outhouse.
Well, that was very gentlemanly of them to let the ladies have dibs on the outhouse. Now, like so many families from this area, made a lot of trips to Wenatchee, Washington back in the day. Talk about your first memories of some of those epic trips y'all would take out west.
Okay, my first trip, I was 8 years old, and we went with get a sort of a caravan, be more. We went with Lon and Jimmy Smith, and Lon and Jimmy has one son here in Warren, I believe is Smith. I remember we lived up there in East Wenatchee, and
a lot of people associate that with apple picking, but you'd pretty much take any job you can find, whether it was in hops or anything like that. You'd go to work.
Work in Wenatchee till the season was working, and then we'd go down to Prosser and work in the hops. A lot of people don't know what a hop is, but I do. I had to pick the leaves out of them.
Mm-hmm. You got to know them all too well.
Yeah, me and Mary, that was our job. We'd take about picking the leaves out of the hop, then they'd sack them.
Mm-hmm. You had 2 or 3 brothers that would settle out there and stayed for good.
Well, we would have stayed. Dad wanted to stay in 1945.
He wanted to stay for good.
Because Mr. Grant, the fellow he worked for, offered him a good deal on this and that. But Mom wouldn't stay. She wouldn't stay.
Uh-huh.
So we come back. We was over there when World War II come to a conclusion. I remember horns blowing, bells ringing. And
what a time.
It was a lively place when that...
I can imagine.
1945.
We're talking with my Aunt Melba June Haley Maxwell. This is Home Folks, and we have lots more memories, lots of things to talk about. Continuing in just a moment. Stay here. This is Home Folks. I'm Ken Loggins. Hey, if you like what you're hearing on Home Folks, I encourage you to do business with our Home Folks partners. It wouldn't be possible without the Home Folks you find at Sharp County Outdoors, 587 Highway 62 West in Ash Flat. Mike Watson with State Farm Insurance, locations in Melbourne and Highland. Izard County Abstracts, serving you since 1954. And by Cooper's Hawk Golf Course and the Hawk's Nest Grill. Come and play, come and stay. A reminder, if you don't mind, subscribe here at the YouTube channel. It's absolutely free of charge. Also follow us at our Facebook page, Ken Loggins Online on Facebook. And now, more of our visit with June Haley Maxwell. This is Home Folks. This is Home Folks. I'm Ken Loggins, your host, and we are visiting with my Aunt Melba June Haley Maxwell, reminiscing about her childhood in Lunenburg, part of the Haley family, and talking about some days in Wenatchee, Washington as well. You know, Aunt June, my mom always used to laugh about this story. You were talking earlier about the caravans that would go from this area, North Arkansas, to Wenatchee, and it was good to have as many people on a caravan or in a line as you could, because in case somebody had a flat or somebody had problems or something, you could help each other out. She said that on one particular trip, your dad, Ewell, he might have come up with this idea, but put together kind of a box truck and loaded up just about everybody up into it, and Mom said got about 5-10 miles down the road and figured out it didn't have nearly enough ventilation. Do you have any recollection of that? Were you in on that trip?
Oh, Lord, yes. And I see they didn't lock the deal from the outside. We couldn't get the door open.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I tell you, what I've lived through in my life, I'm lucky to be here.
Well, we're certainly glad you are here sharing some of these memories. Let's go back from Wenatchee to Lunenburg for a little while and talk a bit more about your schooling. Do you remember any particular teacher or teachers that you had down there at the school?
We had a Carrie Muncie taught down there. Mr. Clark taught down there. And Owen Harville.
Mm-hmm.
Owen Harville was a good teacher. We started school. We had a 5-cent Big Chief tablet and a couple of pencils. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Every Friday, they'd line us up and have a spelling bee.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever win a spelling bee?
Well, if you missed a spelling word, you had to go to the end of the line.
My mom always used to talk about ciphering contests.
Yeah.
And she said that Udell Smith was really good with his numbers, good with his ciphering. And but she said one day she got up there with Udell. Udell was on one side of the blackboard, she was on the other.
Yeah.
And they did a cipher, and she managed to finish first and got it right. And she said Udell liked to never got over that his entire life. He'd remind her of that all the time. Lunenburg was a pretty busy place back in the day. You had a store, you had a post office. Talk a bit about that.
Post office and 2 stores. And at one time, Theodore and Pearl Atkinson had a little store up there, and they sold gasoline. They had one of those gravity pumps, you pump it. I remember that. Not a lot of people know this. You could buy gasoline in Lunenburg at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And they sold out and moved to Gid and had a store over there.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Lunenburg down there on Saturday afternoon. Dad would always go to Melbourne, and Mom would take us, and we'd go down to Lunenburg. We all got one soda.
Mm-hmm.
We liked to get the RC because it's bigger.
Who ran the store? Do you remember?
Well, Max Sparrow's run it.
Mm-hmm.
After Vernie King, then they moved to Melbourne. Then she married Floyd McSparrow, and they had one girl, Etta Jean.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, we've talked a bit about schooling. Now, you would come to the Melbourne School District, wouldn't you, later on during the high school years?
Come to Melbourne in 9th grade.
What do you remember about your school days in Melbourne as far as teachers, classmates, maybe subjects you really liked, other subjects you didn't like so much?
I remember that it's not there anymore, a big old school building there. I remember Herman Frizzell.
Mm-hmm.
We taught algebra. And I liked algebra then. I probably couldn't do anything now, but I always liked him. He was a good teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated in 1954.
Class of 54. Mom always used to talk about how, and we were talking about this earlier, I'd ask her about, well, why would kids marry so young back then and all that stuff? You talked about the hard work on the farm. She said sometimes, and maybe more often than not, getting hitched, getting married, that was viewed as an escape from...
Sometimes escape wasn't all that great.
A lot of kids would elope back then. Certainly not uncommon.
Everybody kept Owen Harville busy there.
How many weddings were in Owen Harville's living room?
Oh, I don't know.
How many?
Bonnie Tyner and Janelle O'Neill, they got married the same time Mary and Heavy did.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about your oldest sister, Bonnie Sue Haley.
Yeah.
She had a difficult time in school. Obviously, there was some sort of a learning disability going on, but she made up for it in so many different ways. Truly.
She was very smart.
Yes, she was. Extremely gifted. Weren't afraid to work hard. Never shied away from...
You didn't question that. Can we do it or can we not do it? We just knew we had to do it, so we done it. Dad always had a big watermelon patch, and he'd raise watermelons, and people would come up there and just load up their wagon, he'd take them. Now, he had that sugar mill, and he done a lot of bartering with his molasses, and back then you had to do what you had to do to take a gallon of molasses and go to town and get a bill of groceries, you know.
This is Home Folks. We're visiting with my Aunt June, Melba June, Haley Maxwell. We're going to be back to wrap up our visit in just a moment. Stay close. Hey, if you like what you're hearing on Home Folks, I encourage you to do business with our Home Folks partners. It wouldn't be possible without the Home Folks you find at Sharp County Outdoors, 587 Highway 62 West in Ash Flat. Mike Watson with State Farm Insurance, locations in Melbourne and Highland. Izard County Abstracts, serving you since 1954. And by Cooper's Hawk Golf Course and the Hawk's Nest Grill. Come and play, come and stay. A reminder, if you don't mind, subscribe here at the YouTube channel. It's absolutely free of charge. Also follow us at our Facebook page, Ken Loggins Online on Facebook. And now, more of our visit with June Haley Maxwell. This is Home Folks. We're back here on Home Folks, the home stretch of our visit with June Haley Maxwell. This visit is dropping on Thanksgiving 2025, and as we head into the holiday season, before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you about what Christmas time was like as a child there in Lunenburg.
Well, back then, Christmas came. We didn't know it's Christmas. Christmas was here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just some kind of a little play down at Lunenburg School.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas tree and all that.
Maybe an apple, an orange, and
Oh, yeah, we have a little
yeah.
to do down there. And all the parents would come.
But once Christmas Day was over, it was back to the grindstone.
That's
wasn't it?
right.
The fields wouldn't wait. I mean, still had to work in the wintertime. Still plenty to do, wasn't there?
Oh, Lord, always something to do. That's what I said. When there wasn't anything that we had to do in the field, we'd go away from the house because we knew that if we stayed around the house, Mom would find us something to do.
Sure.
So
You found something to do that you would rather do.
we'd go ride horses, and Dad would say, "Now you kids don't run these horses." "Oh, we won't, Daddy. We won't." Get outside of the house. Here we go. We had one there. I thought nobody could ride, and I thought, I'm going to ride that horse. Well, okay. I got on the horse, and I went all the way down the hill to the creek. And he got in that creek, and he bucked me off right in the creek. Wham! And he took off running. I was in the creek wet.
Something I didn't mention a while ago that I think listeners would find interesting is food preservation. How'd you keep your food cold like it needed to be back then?
Well, we had to take it down to the spring.
Mm-hmm.
Always the water was cold down there. Take a bucket and then put a rock on it to keep it sitting in there, and it stayed cool.
Mm-hmm.
Take your butter and everything down the spring.
Now, if you had something that had to be frozen, I mean beyond cold as far as the spring, how would you approach that?
Well, sausage and stuff like that, Mom would fry them up and they'd can them.
Mm-hmm.
Dad would, sugar cure the hams and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Salt pork and all that stuff.
Would y'all have hogs on the place, cattle on the place?
And hogs on the place, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Quite a few chickens around the place, I guess.
I
Got to
did.
get your eggs somewhere. And I imagine, I mentioned the cattle. You got to have a milk cow or two.
Oh, yeah, I had a milk cow. But I remember one time, my brother Bill, he brought in some beer. Mom found it. She took it and poured it in the chicken's trough, and they got drunk. Chickens
Now
staggering everywhere.
you'd be pulling my leg here, would you?
Oh, why not?
This really happened. Okay.
This really happened. She poured the beer in the chicken trough.
Did she think this through as far as that was a possibility? I wonder.
That's just the way of getting rid of it,
I've never seen a drunk chicken.
Well, they staggered it like that. start running one way and the second.
Well, hopefully they all survived and lived to tell about
Oh,
it.
they got over it. He was a colorful person.
Well, I always thought of Uncle Bill as kind of, he was a big brother. He was so much older. He was kind of like y'all's uncle in a way, because he was the one that left home first and all of that stuff, and brought home the beer that got the chickens drunk.
He went to Army when he was 18, I guess. So.
Mm-hmm. I guess of your brothers, I guess Bob spent the most time in the service.
Yeah, Bob spent.
He was pretty much a lifer, wasn't he?
I know how come Bob to go in the service when he was 17, I guess. Him and Dad was out cutting cedar post, and somehow a cedar limb or something fell on him. He got up and brushed himself off and said, "I'm out of here." He joined the service and didn't even come home, just went straight.
Mm-hmm.
He now cut more cedar posts. That's what motivated him. And I remember one time, my brother Bob was always playing jokes on Mom. And she'd always have chickens, and he found somebody that had some geese and had big goose eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So he got a couple of them and slipped them in Mom's chicken nest down.
Oh, no.
Oh, that blew her mind. She didn't know which of them chickens did. Which one of them chickens did that? Mom had a lot on her plate to do. I guess that's why she didn't have a whole lot of fun time, you know.
You know, later in life, you had the opportunity to work closely with one of your brothers, my Uncle Jim Haley, down at the courthouse. Y'all worked together quite a few years, didn't you?
Yeah.
This was the assessor's office, wasn't it?
See, we was there when they had no computers.
Mm-hmm.
We had to write those big books by longhand. But we had to prepare the books for the collector's office.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember exactly how many years y'all worked together there at the courthouse in the assessor's office?
About 12 years I was there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I remember those days because I was around then, and I always knew Uncle Jim, Aunt June would be at the courthouse working at the assessor's office.
I lived a colorful life.
You certainly have. Melba June Haley Maxwell, our special guest here on Home Folks. Thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us.
I've enjoyed it.
I have too. Love you, Aunt June. Thank you so much. And we'll visit again soon on Home Folks. Don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Ken Loggins Online on YouTube. That's Loggins. Also, Ken Loggins Online on Facebook. That's Ken Loggins Online on Facebook. Follow us for updates on some of the latest visits that are set to drop as we continue our visits with our favorite home folks. Till we chat again, I'm Ken Loggins. Thank you so much for joining us.